Yeah, so thank you, everyone. We are now close to 20 people, a very good number to start. So once again, I don't know if the lighting in my place is that clear, but I'll try. So I want to take this opportunity to welcome you. I want to recognize John Maina. I want to recognize Calvin Sujuka. I also want to recognize Elizabeth Boley. I want to recognize Jeff, Hillary, Hilda. I want to recognize John Kivisu, John Karanja. We have so many Johns today. We have Judith John, we have John Maina, we have John Kivisu, we have John Karanja. I mean, I think that name John is, people love that name so much. I can also see Vincent Bosire has already joined us. Thank you so much. And Japheth also has also joined us. Purity Kirinya is also here. So allow me welcome you to this session. We're going to look at how hackers use your personal information to jeopardize you and how possibly we can be able to protect ourselves or our personal information so that it is not misused by other people. So before I start, I'll pray. And then as we begin, I urge you to at least try and post anything on the chat section, your expectations for the training, which points do you expect, things you expect to learn, so that as I prepare to share with you, I tailor the content to fit your expectations. And since we are just getting started, for those who have joined us for the first time, I want you to know that this is a professional course that is offered for free, and you will receive a CPD certificate, which is approved by NITA. NITA is the National Industrial Training Authority. So you will be credited 1 CPD hour of credit, and you'll access the CPD certificate automatically. I will share two things. I'll share a unique code and a website link. So you'll click on the link and key in the code with other information that will be required. And automatically this certificate for this session will be downloaded to your personal email address. Okay. And for those who are here and you are in a position to share the link of this Zoom session to your friends, please do that if they still have time to join us. Now, I don't want to go so much into so many things. Let me pray and then we get started. So, Mighty Father, we thank you for a great opportunity like this to share with the professionals across the globe, those who are joining us in this session. Help them be able to learn and help us discuss together concepts that cut around issues to do with data protection and hackers and how we can protect ourselves in the cyberspace. Bless everyone who has joined this session, their families, friends, and relatives, wherever they are, and help them also continue to rise in ranks in terms of their domain areas of expertise. Thank you for Capable Team and also putting up this noble program where they teach professionals every Wednesday. And may we continue to sustain it even as we continue to make the society a better place. Thank you. And it's through Christ's mighty name that we pray. Amen. So I'll introduce myself very fast. I have a profile here with me that I'll just read quickly as we get started. Yes, so my name is Simon Mwachi. I am reliably good, an expert in IT. In fact, I think I'm the lead, I'm the group ICT lead for Capable and Group. And I'm also in charge of the data science and artificial intelligence unit. And I am able to develop fit for use logical procedures in delivering analytics and consulting services in matters IT and research. I also train and I also provide implementation support to clients who need innovative and sustainable solutions in matters, data, and IT. And I also act as a management consultant at Tupac, which was an online restaurant that aimed to provide meals. And then before working at Capable, I was able to lead some trainees on successfully leveraging emerging technologies to implement a water distribution system for one of Nairobi's informal settlements, courtesy of Oxfam and IBM. I have a degree from the University of Nairobi in statistics, operations research, and on schedule with my master's. I believe in pushing boundaries and helping people and clients to achieve organizational targets. So the 20 people who are already in the platform, karibu sana, we are just getting started. If you know you'll not be able to attend the entire session, don't worry. This session is being live streamed on YouTube. Okay, so I'll give you a link to a YouTube channel where you can go and listen to many other sessions we have been recording, and at your own convenient time. So don't worry so much. Also, ensure before you leave, you get the unique code for downloading your certificate for this session so that you don't miss it out. Now, I will share my screen to start the presentation. I'll share my screen. My slides, I think, are here. So can anyone confirm if you can see my slides? Please.
Yes, we can see.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me put it in a more presentable mode. Let me have it in a more presentable mode. Okay. Yeah, I think now that looks better. Now, today's session is on how hackers are trying to exploit data in order to jeopardize you and your personal information, or make use of your personal information for their individual gain. Okay, so we aim to help you understand the importance of preventing data exploitation and how you can stay safe from cybercrime. Sorry, someone's calling me. Sorry for that. Okay. All right. So we are going to look at how you can prevent your own information. But right now, the internet is something that we can't live without. Everywhere we go, we have our phones with us. We have our shopping cards, credit cards in our wallets. We have our laptops and even personal computers at home. So it's very difficult to actually stay connected without being part and parcel of the internet. So in today's world, we are actually, everything is connected, if I can say that. Everything is actually connected. And cybersecurity, in that case, is also becoming a top priority for businesses of all sizes and even individuals. In as much as you are getting connected and the technology is improving as it is, there are people who are actually taking advantage of all this improvement in technology in ways that are not legal, okay, to ensure that they benefit from it by misusing people. Now, despite, you know, when we are connected in this way, the most fundamental thing is that comes to mind is information sharing, because communicating through devices and the latest technology basically informs communication sharing and having data moving across devices from different corners of the world. And of course, with this, it calls for efforts to help secure data. Now, despite all the efforts that help us to secure our data, hackers, or I can call them the bad guys, okay? These people are still finding ways to exploit our information or data for their own gains. So we come up with ways to stop them, but they keep on improving and coming up with better ways to still infiltrate and make and gain illegally. Now, in this session, we'll take a closer look at how hackers are actually exploiting data. The main question you're asking yourself is who are these hackers and how are they exploiting data? And what can you do as a person to stop them? Maybe we are sitting here and are going through this session. Now, assuming now that technology has improved and many things are being done virtually, even this kind of session, I know even big corporations that have sensitive dockets, like let's say finance departments, you are compelled to sometimes, for those who work in finance department from organizations, I know there are very many platforms that offer virtual meetings. For instance, here we are using Zoom. I know of TeamViewer, I know of Google Meet, Skype, you know. So in as much as you are trying to keep up with business and having departmental meetings virtually, assuming this was a departmental meeting for a very sensitive docket, like let's say the finance docket, okay? You know, when you have such meetings, you share information about the health status, financial health status of the company, and very sensitive things. You might even end up displaying an Excel file or database showing your figures in different banks and accounts, okay? What if I told you if this was that kind of meeting and all of us here, the 20 of us, are members of the financial department, and we have one person who is actually not a member of our finance team, okay, who is a hacker, and maybe he has hacked this meeting in such a way we can't even see his name listed here, okay? But he's maybe our competitor in our company. So he sits through the meeting, he listens through all our deliberations on matters finance, our payrolls, and so many critical information. When this kind of meeting ends, this person will have leverage and so many, he'll have information that will help him if he wants to, bring your company down, especially if he can attack your accounts and things like that. Now, I want you to think about that kind of a scenario, okay? Now, that brings us to understanding how then are hackers exploiting data? How are they getting it? And from a personal perspective, what can we do in order to stop them? It's not just about organizational data. This is in fact more about yourself and your safety in the cyberspace. Whether you are using your phone, whether you are using a computer, whether you are doing purchases at Jumia, anything, we have these Visa cards or PayPal accounts, and things like that. So how can we ensure that we are safe and that no one takes advantage of our information? So I'll move quickly to the next slide, okay? And first things first, I need us to understand what data exploitation is. Before maybe we have a clear explanation, I would like someone to explain, not the way it is on the screen, but in a simpler term, assuming you're explaining to a 5-year-old kid. Anyone who can explain what data exploitation is, you can simply raise your hand or type something on the chat section. If you're not in a position to speak or your background is noisy, feel free to type on the chat section. Anyone with a different understanding apart from what I have?
Maybe I could go.
Yes, Judith, please.
My layman thinking is using data in a manner that was not initially intended for. I would say wrongfully, I don't know, but to me, it's in a manner that it was not initially intended for.
That's a good explanation. Thank you. You speak authoritatively. I like that. You speak like an IT expert. I think you are. Are you an IT? What's your domain area of expertise?
No, I'm not an IT person. I'm in the development world. So
you are a software
but I want
developer.
to know more about IT things.
You are a software developer.
No. I'm not in IT at all.
Okay.
Okay.
So this session, this session will equally help you. It doesn't matter if you are a tech savvy or not. This session has been tailored to help you understand, just keep you informed. So thank you so much, Judith. Now, as Judith has just said, data exploitation is actually using data in a way that it was not intended, okay, or authorized. And mostly this happens for malicious purposes, okay? And this can include things like, let's say, stealing data, okay? Let me give a very simple example. When we go to, let's say, hotels and we check in, and those people give you forms to fill, they have several columns. You have your name there, you have your phone number, email address, that is personal information. And you are always at liberty, to either agree or not to give them that information. But before you give out information like phone numbers, email addresses, let's say you are checking in a hotel or something, or any situation, always ask yourself, why are these people taking this information? What are they going to do with it? Okay. You might be at an event or a party and people are collecting such information and you think it's just, we are just in a party, people are taking information. No, some people might actually be harvesting that information, stealing it, if I can say that. And they are going later to use it and even create fake profiles using your phone number and email address. They create a fake profile even in Instagram, in any social media platform. And when they get their picture, they use it as the profile. And then they start posting things that don't actually depict your personality. Then you start wondering, friends calling you, hey, I've seen you've posted nude pictures on Instagram. Yeah, because the profile picture, the name, the email address you have used to create an account is actually yours. Those now come with fake identities, because someone was able to steal your data, your names, email address, and he or she was able to create fake profiles using them to do bad things so that he or she can hide behind your identity. And then you might even get arrested depending on the degree of sensitivity or how bad or illegal that person might be doing with that kind of fake identity or fake account. Now, of course, malicious purposes might include stealing data and modifying that data and using that data to actually gain access to sensitive information. We're going to look at a case study that will help us understand this in detail. Now, data exploitation in itself has serious consequences. Most of the times, the consequences are always very dire. For example, financial loss for organizations. Organizations have lost money, and not just organizations, but also individuals. I had a screenshot of, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday was 4th, if I'm not wrong. Someone had posted on Twitter. In fact, let me just post it right now. Let me just post it. Yeah, it's loading. Let me just share it now. This happened yesterday, and the complainant was accusing Safaricom, and Safaricom was trying to respond to that. So I don't know if you can see my screen. You can zoom. If you're using a mobile phone, you can just zoom. Just zoom the presentation if you're using a mobile phone. So this lady, look at the date down there. It's 4th of April, which was, I think, yesterday. I don't know, at 10 in the morning. So this lady called Winnie Smart, she posted saying, guys, I'm broken this morning. My business till number has been swept clean. Yesterday night, I had 33,200. I'm receiving a message from a payment. My balance is 300 bob. I didn't transact any money. I'm just reading what I'm quoting what she typed on Twitter. I didn't transact any money. No one has my phone. Like, really, okay? When will you protect us at Safaricom Care? So she tagged Safaricom Care. Then Safaricom Care, I think they immediately responded and said, hi, Winnie, sorry about this. Share with us your till or store number, till names, your names, ID. See, this is still data that Safaricom is still trying to request from the lady. Of course, they will use it to track her profile and maybe go into the logs or the system logs to see the events, how they were happening and which time. If anyone logged out or transacted cash and things like that, they might be able to trace if someone used a phone or a laptop somewhere to track her M-Pesa and, send the amount. And if that person did, where did the amount go to and things like that. And then there is this other guy called Sam. He responds and says, just the other day, a friend of mine went through the same. Pesa ya rent ikafagiliwa and he didn't authorize any payments. On calling Safaricom Care, they promised to reverse. It's more than a week now, no response, no at all. Now, I want to have a disclaimer and state that I'm not against Safaricom or any organization. I'm not like saying Safaricom is a bad telecommunication company or things like that. I'm just trying to let you know that in as much as you can have an organization that has built reputation and that people trust in your services, you are prone to data exploitation, and people can still find ways, to jeopardize your clients and still. So I was explaining the repercussions or consequences for that exploitation. And the first one is always financial loss. That is why I gave that kind of example. Okay. Now, apart from financial loss, we also have reputational damage. And I'd given us a simple case whereby you can upload a profile or someone can get your photo. Okay. The way you post photos on WhatsApp status, na mtu anaweza screenshot and then anaitumia kufungua profile in Instagram, Facebook, or any other social media, of course with your name. Okay, and anyone looking at that profile and anything that is typed from that profile will think that, hey, it is so and so, kumbe it is not. So that's reputational damage, all right, for example. Now, we also have other consequences. These are legal consequences. Now, it's important to be aware of all the risks that and be able to take necessary steps to protect yourself and your organization in this case. Now, how do hackers exploit data? How do hackers exploit data? Now, there are different methods of data exploitation. In fact, there are so many methods. As I said, the technology is actually developing at a very fast rate. Right now, just allow me to deviate a bit, we have what we call artificial intelligence coming in. All right, we have the likes of ChatGPT, we have the likes of Slides AI, we have the likes of, there are so many. If I list it, I was checking, someone was trying to list them on his LinkedIn profile. There are over 20. Each of these artificial intelligence technologies are coming up, and they're actually doing so many things. So they not only disrupt your job, but they are actually going to make hackers even more tough and more, they'll give hackers even more leverage. So it's important to realize that in as much as artificial intelligence and technology is coming up in the manner that it is in a fast rate, know that hackers are coming up with more ways. Now, the ways that we're going to discuss here are not the only ways. I just picked the three because these are the most common. These are the most common because 80 to 90% of people falling into their trap and having their data exploited is always coming from these three methods. Now, the first one is called phishing, okay? It sounds phishing, yes, phishing, just the way you can go to a river and cast your net to fish, to get fish to eat. Now, this phishing is different from the spelling even. This is where someone, instead of now someone going to the lake to cast a net and catch fish, a hacker comes to your email or your inbox and casts a bait. He can send you a very compelling email message and with a link that you can click. So he tells you something like, you know what, check out this game, click on this link to play this kind of game, and win lotteries and things like that, and especially for those people who like gambling, you can click on that link because you want to maybe play a lottery or something like that. Immediately you click on the link has been embedded with, softwares that actually are activated. Once you click that link, that software is activated. Okay. Now I'll link that to malware soon. But phishing, in its basic understanding, this is whereby people send emails or messages that look like they're coming from a very legitimate source. Now, let me give you a case. I know when you are at your workplace, your CEOs and your managers always send you emails, and it comes with his title. Let's say you CEO, from the CEO, or even the signature at the end of the email. The signature is for the CEO and the logo of the company, things like that. Now, someone can send a phishing email. If, let's say, the email of your CEO is, let's say, the name, like, let's say Alan dot, let's say the company is Capable. Let's say the CEO of Capable is called Alan. Then we have his name, like, let's say Alan at capable.com as the email address of the CEO. Now, when you look at emails, the letter A is always written the same way as not like the at, but this person might have the word Alan, and instead of having the double L in the word Alan, he replaces the double L with, let's say, I, okay, capital I. It's so hard for you to differentiate capital I and an L. And you have to realize that Alan with capital L and Alan with capital I might appear the same email address, but they're actually two different email addresses from two different people. So a hacker might develop an email address called Alan at Capable, and he pretends to be actually the CEO of the company. And using that email address and of course the email signature down there, he or she sends you an email body, and then you will respond very quickly because you'll be like, okay, wait, this is my boss. He is telling me to click here and do this and this. So you respond very fast because you don't want to disappoint your boss, because that is an email that actually looks like it's coming from a legitimate source, and you act on it, and that's how that person gets you. So that's how a phishing attack works. It's one of the common techniques, and you realize that hackers use that technique to attack you by sending emails or messages that look like they are from a legitimate source. It can even be like a bank account that you use, or even a social media site that you use. Okay. Now, these kind of messages that come with phishing attacks, they contain a link. Always check for the link. They always contain a link that compel you as the user to click, and then they take you to a fake website that looks like a real website that they have created on the side. Then they might trick you to enter your login credentials or other sensitive information, okay, in that website once you click on the link. So that's how they fish for your information. And then once you key in the information, of course, they use that information in however they like to, and to their benefit. Now, to avoid being a prey for phishing attacks, it's important for you to be skeptical. Be very skeptical. Even if you're responding to mails from your bosses, check that email address all the time, especially if they send you with the links, emails that have links. Check that email address very well and ensure that it actually aligns with the format of the corporate email addresses for your organization. And when, in case you have clicked a link that is from a phishing email, check where it is taking you to. If it takes you to a website, confirm that that website is secure and it is not a duplicate of another legitimate website somewhere. And once you even go to an extent of start keying in your information, like your name, email address, whatever information that website will ask you to provide, don't go to that step without actually making sure that you are dealing with a legit website, whatever it is you'll be trying to do. Okay, so it's important. This will help you to fall for a phishing attack. If you are doubting, then don't click on any links. Don't even go ahead and enter any sensitive information. Okay, so that will keep you safe. Now, another method of exploitation is malware. Malware comes from the word malicious. You know, something that is malicious is something that is designed to harm you, to cause problems, or to disrupt normal operations. Okay, now what is going to happen? A malware is a software. Okay, these are malicious software that someone designs. Yeah, people sit down and design softwares that are supposed to do bad things. Softwares in general are supposed to do good things. For example, if you look at your phone, you have applications and softwares. You have the WhatsApp software that helps you to send messages and post pictures, videos to your friends. We have a software for calling, you know, the phone call software. If you look at your laptop, you have the software for Word, typing documents. You have other software for managing ledger sheets and entry like Excel. You have another software for, you know, doing presentations like PowerPoint. So softwares are supposed to help us do good things. But in as much as people develop good softwares, there are people who develop softwares that are supposed to do bad things. There are softwares that when they run on your computer or they get into your computer, they do so many bad things. Number one, they can fill the memory of your computer so that in as much as you have not stored so many things on your computer, you can't even download a song. It has no memory. You can't even store documents. Every time you try to save something, it tells you memory full. There are softwares that do that. There are other softwares that actually prevent your computer even from functioning at all. You try to power it on, it's not powering, or even if it powers on, it disables every other application. You can't type your Word documents, you can't send emails. So some softwares go even as far as, you know, stealing information from you. There's a case where if, let's say, you're in an organization, you're trying to chat to communicate with clients on email, there are softwares that can actually be placed in such a way, when you send an email to the client and the client responds back to you, there's someone seeing that conversation back and forth. if you are actually trying to come up to a business deal with a client, for example, and you are still negotiating price, and this person has tapped into your email system, he's seeing what you are telling the client, and he's also seeing what the client is responding back. Like that, like that, like that. So the client tells you he has 50K, and you are saying, no, I'm selling you this product at 60K. I can't go beyond that. So you're arguing, then this person who has hacked your communication, and of course, he can also see the email address of the client. He'll approach the client on the other side and give him a better offer. Then at the end of the day, you realize, wait, my client did not reach an agreement with me. The client just disappeared because this person saw your communication and he went at the back and talked to your client and gave that client better service at a very cheaper price, even less than that 50K. Okay. So imagine you are trying to talk to clients on email in your organization. Someone is always listening, seeing the conversation to and fro, and picking information like their emails and other things. And then they go with a counter offer. Just imagine if that person does that for like 3 months or even a year, your business will never close any business deal. Yes, that's how serious it gets at times. Okay, now come to your personal data. There are softwares or malware, as we are still discussing. Have you ever heard of people design software, then they sell, then they tell you, do you feel like your spouse is cheating? Maybe you want to access your partner's WhatsApp phone or your partner's WhatsApp. Maybe they have a pattern or a finger lock or a password that you can't access. You can't actually access their phone. Then there are these people who design these malwares that they tell you, you know what, buy this software. If you install it in your partner's phone, wherever that person goes, you'll be able to see their conversation in WhatsApp and basically everything, even their calls. All right. Now that is very unethical. This is your personal private life. Okay. But there are people who have designed malwares that can actually sell your information to other people. So you are there typing in WhatsApp, communicating to other people, private, of course, confidential issues, but someone else is having something like a mirror on his phone, just seeing everything. So think about it. So malwares are a type of software that are designed to harm, to disrupt a computer system, and even spy operations. Of course, they can be used to steal data, like I've mentioned. Someone who can see your conversation with a client can take even their email address. They can modify, apart from stealing data, they can modify that data and even gain unauthorized access to a system. Now, as we have discussed, realize that malware come in very many forms, including viruses, trojans, and ransomwares. Okay, and to protect yourself from this kind of malware, this is now important. How do you protect yourself from this? It's important that you keep your softwares up to date. I don't know how many of us, whenever you're working on your laptop, sometimes it stops and it tells you, you know what, wait a minute, I'm trying to update, or Windows is updating. Some of you really don't like that message. You can either end up force your laptop shut down or cancel that. Do not always let your laptop or software update itself. This also goes the same to your mobile phone. Buy phones that are legit, okay? Don't buy fake phones. A conversation on how to spot a fake phone and a legit phone is another conversation for another day. But if you have good mobile phones, they have a scheduled period for updating software, because the companies that develop these devices know that there are people out here who are working day and night to mimic or to copy these systems and find ways to infiltrate these systems, especially mobile phones, where that store people's information. Okay, so when your mobile phone prompts for you to give it an update, find a Wi-Fi nearby or buy data and let that device update its softwares. Because when the manufacturers of that phone update softwares, they intend to beef up security for the applications that are running on your device, whether it's your phone or your laptop. So it's important to keep your device's software up to date. Another thing, use antivirus software. Okay, if it's on a laptop, we know of Kaspersky and very many other providers. Just walk to any computer shop and ask them, you know what, I have a laptop, you know what, I have a phone. How can I get a legit antivirus for this device of mine? They'll sell it to you, and you can always update that antivirus, and it will always keep your device from these kind of attacks, okay, especially the malwares. And lastly, another way is be cautious, especially when you're downloading files from the internet, because this is where these malwares enter your laptop. Okay, you can be visiting a website or something and you like a song, and then you want to download it. I can see Judith's hand is raised. Let me allow her to share with us and then we proceed. Yes, Judith.
Oh, thank you. Taking you back to what you mentioned about updating, I mean, the phones, the software is updating. Could it also be possible that these people, the bad guys could do something, and then when you update that thing, when you know the phone switches on and off, they're able now to access your phone? Or because that is another fear people have, that frequently you'll be told that there's a scheduled update at this time. So in fact, you say reschedule, especially on the phone. So is it possible that the hackers could be using the same technique to do bad things to us?
Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you so much for that very important question. You know, a mobile phone is actually a very critical device. I don't think anyone here lacks a mobile phone. You know, you can lack a laptop, but a mobile phone, I don't know if the probability of someone not having a mobile phone is very nil at this time and age. So hackers actually really target mobile phones, just like you have said. Now, when you when you are using a legit mobile phone, you'll always have either, mostly like for, number one, it also depends with the brand that you're using. There are those who use iOS, that is the iPhones from Apple. There are those who use Samsung. There are those who use Infinix. There are those who use Redmi. There are so many brands out here, and every brand is trying to outdo the other because of one simple thing: security. The reason why Apple has a respectable reputation is because it's secure. According to how they rank these devices and their brands, it's the most expensive brand, okay, iPhone compared to other brands, because of one thing: security. And these other brands, including Samsung, Huawei, and the likes, they are competing each other, not just on functionality, how sleek your phone is, how beautiful it looks, the memory size, not even those things. Security. And when depending on the brand you are using, once you buy that phone, you always customize it with your details, either your account details, let's say your Gmail account or your Apple account, or your Samsung account or something like that. Now, for instance, for me, let's say I've been using Samsung for a while. After every 2 weeks, it used to ask me for an update. And it has also given me a flexibility to allow updates, maybe let's say monthly, okay? So once you are aware that your phone updates monthly, and then something happens, you get a request to update your phone, but it's not in the determined period or duration in which it updates, you now have to start yourself questions. Now, this is in line to your question, Judith. If your phone updates monthly or after every 2 weeks, and then you get an update that does not fall in line with the scheduled duration of updating the software, that's a red flag. So you can discard that and work in line with the normal update schedule that your phone has, okay? You can just check that in the settings. I know you can access your settings, security settings on your phone, and it should be easy for you to see how frequent you can update the software for your phone and settings related to that. So, and also when such notifications pop up, most of the times, especially if you have an account, if it's a Samsung mobile and you have a Samsung account, it will always have that credibility that comes with the notification. It won't appear fish, it won't come as an SMS or an email. It will actually pop up as a notification designed from the mobile system itself. Sometimes you can even power your phone off. Then when you power it back, every time you power your phone on, that notification to update your phone pops up. So depending on how you have scheduled it, you should easily notice any suspicious notifications. So I don't know if that helps, unless.
Yes, thank you so much. That has really helped. Yeah.
Yes. So for my case, I have explained that relating to my case, because for my case, I always do that. I know my phone updates monthly, and after every month, I always expect a prompt to update the Samsung software that come with the applications on my phone. So that is it on malware. And we have talked about protecting yourself from malware, updating softwares using antivirus, and be cautious when downloading things from the internet. Those who love downloading music, photos, anything, PDF documents, especially PDF documents and Excel files. Most of those are always hooked with macros or applications that actually run whenever you open that file. And once you open the file and those applications run, they are actually installing in your machine. But good thing, I've seen Google, if you send someone a file on Google and that file has something malicious, Google have very powerful systems. You cannot, if I send you a file using your Gmail on your Gmail account, and if it's an Excel file that has, I've attached some malicious program with that file, you will not open it because Google will not allow you to open it. Google software are very powerful. They are able to detect, and they can even warn you and tell you, you know what, this file that you're about to upload, let us scan for you first. I don't know how many have experienced that. Someone sends you an Excel file or any document. It's in your Google email inbox, but you can't download it. Then there is a yellow line that says, you know, this file seems malicious. Give some time for Google to scan. So that's just one of the protective features that companies like Google are helping you protect your personal devices from files that you download. So for those who have experienced that, I know it has come in handy. And if there's a point where someone was trying to interfere with you, Google has been able to deal with that. Now, one last method of exploitation is social engineering. Now, this one is where the fun is. You have seen people call you and they're saying, you know what, habari yako, I'm calling you from Safaricom, nini, tumegundua your line iko registered mara mbili, so tupatie details to confirm, and so many stories. This is social engineering. And maybe before we give such kind of funny examples, we need to understand what social engineering is. This is actually what we call psychological manipulation. This is aimed to trick you, okay, into giving away sensitive information. Okay, if not giving sensitive information, then they will trick you to perform actions that will actually not to be to your best of interest. Okay, common examples of social engineering include phone calls from fake tech support representatives. Okay, people calling you and saying, I'm calling you from Safaricom. Safaricom are even making adverts to warn you from this kind of people. Okay, they call you, sometimes they even send a message. You get a message saying, like me, I got a message sometimes back. Someone is telling me, you know what, I'm in school. In fact, the message came like, hi dad, I'm in school and we need some money for a trip. And also my box was broken. First of all, I don't even have a kid. So I started questioning that kind of SMS. So people pretend to be kids in school. They message parents, you know, and if you are a gullible parent, of course, due to social engineering, because this is psychological manipulation, the thought that your kid is suffering in school, it doesn't have pocket money, you will send that money very fast to that number. And once you do that, it will be too late for you to realize your kid can come back home and you ask the kid, oh, did you get the money? You send me an email using your teacher's number and I send you some cash, and your kid is like, wait, me, I didn't send you anything. I didn't tell you anything about a trip. By the time you realize you are conned, it's long gone. Okay, so that is a very perfect example that is affecting individuals in the country, and even most of us who are in this session today. So it's good that for us to be keen whenever we face such situations. The first question you should ask yourself is, where did this person get my number? Okay. And when I started, I said you can be in a party or in a hotel or something, and these people mostly give you forms to fill your information, or even, you know, they can manipulate you by just talking to you. You end up even, for example, if it's Safaricom, then there are guys who are faking from a fake customer support. You can end up giving your M-Pesa PIN and ID, and with that, they are able to get your cash, even wipe cash out of your M-Pesa account. So it's important that you are keen. They can even send emails, and these emails will claim to be from a friend who is in need of financial help. when you get an email claiming to be your friend who is in financial distress, please, if you have the phone number of that friend, even call her or him and ask, hey, are you sending me a mail? Is it true you're having problems? Or call a relative who is close to that friend, just to confirm before you end up sending money. I know this is funny because there are people who receive mails from people saying, you know what, I am a doctor from America. I came to Africa and I've faced small issues. I need to travel back to my country. Please send me this small amount of money. When I get back to America, I'll give you $50,000, you know, and you end up falling for it because this is psychological manipulation. You'll feel like, hey, you are lucky, and this Mzungu is in trouble. Okay, and let me just sort him with this small cash that is, maybe he's even requesting for 500 bob, and you want to sort him because you believe in return, once he has sorted his problems and he's gone back to his country, he'll be able to give you a huge amount of money as thanks, as a thank you. So be very careful for such kind of emails because they are always tailored to manipulate you psychologically. Okay, now to protect yourself against social engineering attacks, it's important be wary of unsolicited requests of people requesting you for information anyhowly. Think twice or even thrice before giving out any information. Physical information about you include your name, email address, your phone number, where you stay, your national ID number. Okay, always verify the identity of that person or that organization before giving out any sensitive information. Now, let us look at a case study. I don't know if most of us know this kind of case study, but I'll try explain it. So there's a company called Target. Target is an organization that sells, it's like a retail store that sells things like clothes, groceries, and so many other things. Now, I want us to use this case study so that we can understand how data exploitation works for an organization, for instance. And this is a real world example. This is not a fiction story. This is something that actually happened in 2013, okay? And now in 2013, Target, an organization, it suffered a massive data breach. And this data breach resulted in theft of 40 million credit card numbers. 40 million credit card numbers, imagine. And 70 million other pieces of customer data. Now, the breach was a result of a phishing attack. You remember the phishing attack that you have just explained? Someone sending an email that appears to come from a legitimate source. A phishing attack. It resulted from a phishing attack. A hacker was able to send a phishing email to one person who was actually working with a Target company, that company called Target. And it resulted to very big problems. Now, these hackers were actually able to steal login credentials, okay? You know, when you have a big company like Target, some of your customers will be having accounts. For those who have, let's say, Amazon accounts, where you buy things, or even let me use Jumia. Jumia is something that we are closer to, at least when you do online shopping. There are some of us who have accounts in Jumia and Kilimall. You know, when we log in, we put things in the cart, we order, and then they're delivered and things like that. So hackers were able to steal login credentials of these people. Remember, when I started explaining, I said 40 million credit card information and 70 million other pieces of customer data was stolen. So when hackers were able to steal login credentials, they used these credentials to gain access to Target systems, okay? And once into these systems, they were able to steal data. Now, this data breach cost that company over $200 million, and it also damaged the company's reputation. Now, in this kind of case study, we learned that and discover that large organizations, even those that have robust cybersecurity measures, okay, they can fall victim to data exploitation. This case study emphasizes even on the importance that we should be more vigilant, okay, and that we should be taking proactive steps to prevent attacks. Now, let me explain this case study in a more simple way. I'm assuming we have kids here or young people so that they can understand, okay? Now, Target is a popular store where people can buy all sorts of things. People buy clothes, toys, food, groceries, etc. Now, unfortunately, in that year, particularly of 2013, we have bad guys who we call hackers in this case. And these were people who were able to get into the target's computer systems. If you see on my picture, we have those tellers. You see the way you do your shopping, unafika kwa huyo mtu wa kulipa, you can either pay using your phone or log into the account or swipe a card. Okay. So these people were able to get people's information, and they did this by putting a bad software on target computers. Now, if you can see my screen, you see those computers where we have the tellers who sit there and then they do your bill. Okay. So hackers, we have been talking about the phishing email. So one of the phishing email was sent to one of these users who clicked on it. And by clicking on it, the hackers were able to activate a software that replicated itself on these computers. And once this software was able to replicate itself on these computers, hackers were able to see everything that was happening on these computers. Remember, these computers have information about things that are being bought, information about the buyer, the name, the credit card, information, you know, and so many things. Now, this bad software was really hard to detect. And the hackers were actually able to steal information for a long time before even target company found out. Now, the information that was stolen, like I've said, included very sensitive things like people's names, addresses, where they stay, that is, credit card numbers, and such things. And this was a big problem because these hackers could use this information. In fact, they used this information to buy things. Wewe umekaa hapo nyumbani, unapata notification ati umenunua, umefanya shopping from Target. Okay, that's why I said earlier it actually destroyed Target's reputation, and Target lost over 200 million. So they use this information to buy things or even steal money, and even steal money from these customers' bank accounts. Now, when Target found out about this problem, they immediately took steps to fix it and make sure it will not happen again. But you know, it's too late, because this kind of damage, it's almost impossible to convince people to come back and do business with you. Now, Target also told everyone that for all those people who might have been affected, they tried to offer them free credit monitoring services to help them protect their information. Now, one important lesson that I want all of us in this session to learn from this case is that it's very important for you to be careful with personal information. We have supermarkets out there, Naivas, Quickmart, and they have our information, you know, especially when we do shopping and then they ask you, hey, ukona phone number, or do you have our card? And then they give you points, you know, things like that. So it's important to be careful. It's a good idea to keep track of where you share your information online, okay? And only give that information to trusted sources. Now, additionally, you can consider to regularly check your bank statements and credit reports. Some people are sitting here, and the last time they checked their bank statements and credit reports maybe was even like 6 months ago, okay? So you might not know what has happened. So regularly check your bank statements and credit reports. This will help you detect any unauthorized activity quickly. The earlier you detect that something has happened or something is missing, the easier it is for it to be solved, okay? Now, another essential thing that you should do, especially if you run a business that deals with customer information, you have to realize that it's crucial for you to keep software and systems up to date, okay? The computers you are using, the security cameras you are using, the CCTVs, all those softwares, ensure that you upgrade those systems and update them all the time. And if you're using passwords for your business, ensure that those passwords are difficult for hackers to guess. And how can you ensure that passwords for your business are difficult for hackers to guess? Get people who are called penetration testers. These are experts who will try to mimic, or they will try to simulate a scenario whereby they'll assume, what if hackers try to hack this system? How will they do it? So they'll do what we call penetration testing. By doing penetration testing to your business or company, you are able to discover loopholes or weak areas that actual hackers can actually use in case that situation comes to happen. And then you come up with ways to block it, okay? So come up with strong passwords that are difficult for hackers to guess. Now, to conclude on this, this breach that affected the target company It was actually a significant event, and this affected so many people. And still, it also helped raise awareness because people were able to understand the importance of personal data safety measures, including being cautious when sharing personal information and taking steps to actually protect yourself from cyber criminals. Now, how do you protect yourself? How do you protect yourself? So let's go and see how you can protect yourself. Now, this is the core, this is the apex of this presentation. This is now the main piece of the cake in this entire presentation. What are some of the best practices that you can help protect yourself from data exploitation and some things that we have been discussing? Okay, now that you have seen how hackers can exploit data, it's good that we discuss these ways in which you can protect yourself and even organization from these attacks. Now, number one, we have the use of strong password. This is one of the easiest things you can do yourself to protect yourself. So use a strong password. And how strong is a password? Most of the times we are told, make sure that at least your password has 12 characters, at least 12 characters, okay? And try to use a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters, add some numbers, okay? And some symbols, but avoid using the same password for multiple accounts. I hope that is very clear. I'll repeat, make sure that your password has at least 12 characters. Now, I'm saying at least 12 because the fewer the characters, the easier and the quicker it is for a hacker to break into your device or your systems. So 12 characters will take a longer time for the computer or the hacker to, to figure it out. It will take a longer time for the hacker to figure it out, especially if you have combined those 12 characters with uppercase numbers, lowercase letters, symbols, okay? And once you have that kind of password, don't use it in every account. Don't let your Gmail password be the same as, because your Gmail password can make someone access your email, whereby when they send bank statements, I know most of us, we have authorized the bank to send bank statements to our email, to our personal Gmails, whether it's cooperative banks, Tanbit, KCB. So if someone, imagine if someone accessed your Gmail account, this person can get copies of all bank statements that have been coming to your personal email, all right? This person can be able to figure out how much net worth or how much cash you have in the bank by just accessing or logging into your Gmail. So the password that logs into your Gmail should not be the same password that logs into your Facebook, should not be the same password that logs into your Twitter, into your company accounts. So have a unique password for every possible account. Even your phone should have its own password. Don't let the password that opens your phone to be the same password that maybe opens some other app in that phone. Let them be different. We have what we call passwords, and we have what we call a passphrase. You can allow me maybe demonstrate the difference between a password and a passphrase. Let me just stop sharing this and open a Word document. So we have a password, we can have a password as something like so let's see this. So we can have this. If you can see my screen, just type on the chat session, just type yes. If you can see my Word document, just type yes. You can see my Word document. If you're using a mobile phone, just zoom that presentation on your phone. Just zoom it. Now we have what we call a password, and we have what we call a passphrase. Okay. Now these two can help you protect whatever it is that you want to protect, but they're different. A password, as we said, can be a combination of numbers. You can see here we have a 9, we have a 5, we have capital F, we have an exclamation mark. It does not make any logical sense. It's just a combination of characters, at least 12 characters, uppercase letters, special symbols, and things like that. But a passphrase, remember, a phrase is like a statement. If you look at this passphrase very well, you'll realize that it's more of like a statement, like something that says, good password, top secret. But you realize that you have replaced, for the phrase, the actual phrase is actually, if I was to type the phrase, it would be something like this: good password, top secret. Okay, these are passphrase. Now, for a passphrase to work, you have to identify or come up with a statement that only you can remember. You can even have this passphrase in your own mother tongue language. Like, let's say, I don't know which tribe we come from, but you can have this passphrase in your own mother tongue. And then you replace, let's say where we have good, where we have double O, you replace with a 0. Where we have A, you replace with an @ sign, S for $sign, and where we have space, you put a hash sign like this, and then you end up with something like this. Okay? Now, this is a passphrase. Now, passphrases are important. They are more important than passwords, simply because most people have difficulties when it comes to remembering passwords. But if you remember a passphrase, especially if it's in your vernacular language, and then you know that where you have an O, you have replaced it with a 0, and where we have an A, it's an @ sign. It is something that, number one, you easily remember. Okay, you can pick a funny name in your vernacular, or a funny statement, or a funny word, something you'll never forget in your life, in your mother tongue, and you make it a passphrase. And then you do these modifications that are here. This is just an example. So a passphrase is easier for you to remember because it relates to your own vernacular, for example, and you know that how you have replaced these kind of words. You know you have a space which you have replaced with a hash sign and things like that. So it's easier to remember a passphrase compared to a password. I'm giving this tip because for those who forget passwords and do not have password managers, it's easier for you to think of this concept like this. So if you have any questions on how to use passwords or passphrases, you can ask. So let me proceed with the presentation. So we were still on ways to protect yourself, and we were talking about strong password usage. And I've even gone ahead and given an example of a passphrase. Now, always make sure that your password are at least 12 characters now, and avoid using the same password or a passphrase for multiple accounts. Now, another thing, there's what we call two-factor authentication. Now, I don't want to explain so much about this because I know right now most of us have actually experienced this. Have you ever been in a situation whereby someone is trying to log into your account, and then, okay, I see Rose Ngugi. Rose Ngugi asks a question. How safe is saving account passwords with your Gmail account? Hey, that's dangerous, eh? Rose, that's dangerous. That's very dangerous. How safe is saving account passwords? Account passwords, are they bank accounts? That's very dangerous. All I need to do is to know the password to your Gmail account. And once I access your Gmail account, I'll access all other account passwords that you have saved in that Gmail account. So just consider this situation. A hacker will only need one password for your Gmail. Once that person accesses your Gmail, all the other passwords you have saved in your Gmail will now be accessed, because this person will now enter into your Gmail. Yes, even the portals. Now, for you to be safe about this, in as much as it's very dangerous because it's not safe, for you to help yourself with this, ensure that you configure your Gmail. Now, you see, we have talked about passwords and passphrases, and now we are on what we call two-factor authentication. This is where now two-factor authentication comes in. It now comes in to help you to answer your question on how safe is it for you to save your account passwords with your Gmail account. If you enable two-factor authentication in your Gmail account, if someone by mistake or by luck accesses your password for your Gmail, penye atakuwa wherever it is, maybe wewe uko Nairobi, yeye ako Mombasa, amekaa mahali kwa room na laptop na ako na password yako ya Gmail na na login kwa hiyo account akiwa Mombasa. Two-factor authentication will not allow him to log into your Gmail because number one, after ameweka hiyo password, it will tell him or her to confirm identity, maybe through your mobile phone. Now, wewe ukiwa hapa Nairobi, I know you'll be having your mobile phone with you. A notification will pop up on your phone from Gmail or from Google asking you, are you the one trying to log in into your account? And then hapo chini inakuwekea options, if it's yes or no. Of course, if it's not you trying to log in, you will click no. And Google will now stop that person from actually accessing your Gmail account wherever that person is. This is where two-factor authentication comes. I want you to note that two-factor authentication, for example, if you're working with a Gmail or Google account, it is something that you have to enable. It doesn't come by default. So if you can access the settings of your Gmail account, you have to go to where we have safety and security. And then from that place where you have safety and security, you can easily change your password. You can easily link your Gmail account to a mobile number. And now that mobile number that you should link there is your personal mobile phone, because you will always walk around with your phone, so that if some other place is trying to log into your Gmail, Google will send a second factor authentication. The first factor authentication is that person trying to log into your Gmail with the account. Of course, akona the correct password ya Gmail yako. That's the first factor. The second factor ni your phone. Google will send that notification to your phone and ask you, Ross, are you trying to log into your Gmail? And it will give you an option to say yes or no. In fact, it also gives, if you say yes, sometimes it gives you some numbers. Okay, it can give you 3 numbers. Let's say it gives you number 80, it also gives you number 20, and it gives you number 30. And then that person who is trying to log into your Gmail, ye pia amepewa the same numbers. So kama the correct number is 30, ye kule akiclick 30, na wewe hapa uclick maybe 80, Google will realize that the two of you are actually different people and that the wrong person is trying to access the Gmail account, and therefore that process will be stopped. And that's how your account will be kept safe. So that I've actually used your question to explain two-factor authentication. So I don't know if that helps you, Ross. You can just check or confirm if you have enabled the two-factor authentication with your Gmail account and your mobile phone. If not, you can consider to do that and you will be safe, if I can say that. Yeah, so two-factor authentication is an extra layer of security that requires you to enter a code in addition to your password. It helps prevent hackers from accessing accounts, even if they have your password. So, thank you, Ross. And then we have what we call keeping software up to date. Now, I don't want to repeat this. I think I've explained this. You always have to ensure that you update your devices, even those softwares that need you to buy. There are softwares that you subscribe, that you have to renew subscription. Subscribe it because it's for your own good, especially companies that have security softwares which help protect their financial and sensitive data. They procure security softwares from IT companies, and these security softwares have paid for either annually or monthly. Okay, very heavy payments. Some softwares even go up to 50,000 shillings per month just to keep that software running, to protect your organization. So pay for that software update and ensure that the organization is protected at all times. And then we have the third practice. You have to be cautious behavior when you're online. Online means you might be on social media and people post things and you follow up with stories in Telegram, especially Telegram. There are so many stories, so many links, so many things to click on. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Don't just click things blindly, whether you're using your mobile phone or your laptop. You might one day end up clicking a link that will not only destroy your reputation, but also steal your information and even steal your finances. Let me talk about reputation for a bit. How many people in Facebook or Instagram have seen people crying and saying, guys, please, my account has been hacked. Do not believe anything that is being posted in my account. I know so many of us have seen that. This is because the user of that account saw a very tasty link, and he or she clicked on that link, and hackers were able to access his account. And now when they access your account, they take over it. That means you cannot log in anymore, because they will log in, change the password, and use that account as if it is you, while you yourself can't even log in. So they'll post anything from pornographic content to very bad things. And your friends who know your account in Facebook, who are linked to your account in Instagram, they'll start questioning you, calling you, hey, John, why are you posting these things? This is not who we know about you. You're posting very dirty things on your Facebook, and then you end up posting on WhatsApp status telling people, you know what, sorry, my account has been hacked. Please don't believe anything you see on that account. I'm not the one running. So be cautious with your behavior online. Do not download files or click on links on the internet. Always make sure that you trust the source and be wary of anything that seems too good to be true. Okay. Now, lastly, employee education. Now, employee education is important. Even this session right now, okay, this CPD session, this is a continuous professional development session. It helps create awareness. So constantly join such educative sessions. When your organization brings up training sessions like this, join those sessions, join other colleagues to learn and be up to date with the current happenings in terms of data and protecting yourself and the organization from data exploitation and hackers. Okay. So with these key practices, you'll be able to, have an easy time as you navigate the technology world and use devices to make your life easier on a daily basis. So we can just conclude, and you have to know that hackers are constantly finding new ways to exploit data. And you have to be aware of the risks, and you should be in a position to take necessary steps to protect yourself and also the organization. So data exploitation is a very serious problem, and we all know it affects everyone. If you know you're using the internet, just know that it can happen to you anytime, any day. And hackers are constantly finding new ways to do their job. And we can be aware of these risks and take the steps we have discussed to protect ourselves. This will, of course, help us reduce chances of us becoming victims. And as you have seen, some of the best ways to protect yourself include use strong passwords. I've also introduced the idea of a passphrase. If you have not understood a passphrase and a password, I can repeat that. And then we have enabling two-factor authentication, which I've also explained. And then you can also consider keeping your software up to date. Be cautious when you're dealing with things online, and keep on educating yourself and your fellow employees about cybersecurity best practices. So I want to thank all of you for attending this session. I'll stop there. And if there are any questions, feel free to ask. I also know, I have a feeling we have experts in this session. Either you are in an IT department, or maybe you work closer to cybersecurity individuals. Feel free to share concepts that you think are critical and that I might have left out, and you believe the audience is going to benefit. Okay, we can use 5 minutes to do that. Otherwise, I want to thank you for always showing up in these free webinars from Capable. And as I said, I can see we are 23 participants. Do not leave without getting the link to your certificate. Now, this one is a legit link. We are not going to hack anything on you, so don't be worried at all. I'm going to post on the chat section right away. I'll post the unique code that you will use and the link. So you will click on the link. In fact, let me just show my screen and explain to those who do not know how to download their certificate for this training, how you can do it. Let me just show my screen. Yeah, so if you can see my screen, that is our website. That is the Capability official website. And let me see on the chat section. Rose says, my last session certificate had a repeated name. What could be the issue? Thank you, Rose, for bringing that up. I will personally take it up and repair that certificate for you. Thank you. Let me handle that for you. So as you can see my screen, we have this website for Capability. And on top here, where my cursor is pointing, we have this button where we have says get certificate. So if you click on it, you will get the link. Let me paste the link on the chat section. Certificate form link. So that's the link. And then the code that you will use is 172. You'll use 172. So if you click on that link, you'll get this form. That form, it's the training attendance form. You'll just fill your email address here. Then you will choose the session. If you click, there's a drop down here, and you will see the session for today. It shows down here, April 5th. The name of the session is how hackers are exploiting data and things like that. Then you click on that session. And then the next thing is now the code. You now type in that 172. And then you fill your first name. Now, the information you are keying here, like your first name and last name, is the information that will actually be on your certificate, because you will want your certificate to have your names and the name of the event and the CPDR. Then after that, I think you'll have finished. You will just choose the training company, which is Capability Seminars, and then you'll give us a feedback on the relevance of this session on a scale of 1 to 5, and then submit. So once you have done that, the certificate will automatically come to your email. And like Ross has pointed out, if you feel like there's any issues with the certificate, we are always free to rectify. This mostly depends on how you fill that form. If you fill that form wrongly, then the information on the certificate will also be wrong. So looking at that now, I don't know if I've been checking the chat section to see if there are any questions for us to discuss. I'm not seeing any. So I think that means we are okay. Any or general concerns, not pertaining to this training, just general concerns.
Simon.
Yes, Immaculate. Then we'll have Hillary.
Okay, mine is an appreciation for the presentation. I've learned something new, especially about the passphrase. Maybe you can enable a chat for us to see the link. And then the last one is if we can use the same code for previous certificate, as I've been attending the webinars, but I've not been downloading the certificate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emily. Let me address your issues right away.
Immaculate.
Oh, Immaculate. Sorry, I'm seeing so many names on my screen. Sorry, Immaculate Kiilu. Hillary.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Yes,
mine
Hillary.
were 2 questions, and Immaculate has asked the same question. Can we use the same code to download previous certificates? 2, the chat box is disabled, so we are unable to see the link for the certificate.
Okay, I'm so sorry for that. I blame myself. I could not completely configure the chat section to accommodate us, but I think I've been able to do that. That means for those who might have questions and were not able to type them, I'm so sorry for that. I blame myself, but thank you for bringing that up. I have been able to share the link.
Previous certificates, are we using the same code of 172?
No. Every session has a unique code. But what I'll do now that you have brought it up, and it's you are our important audience, I can do this. I can enable, because these codes expire. I will just go and enable the codes back in the system, so that, in fact, let me see if I can Just give me a minute so that I can post the codes for the previous sessions. Just give
With
me
the name of the session.
with the name of the session, yes.
Thank you.
With the name of the session. Let me do it right away. Let me do it right away. So we have let me do it right away. Now, what is going to happen is for now, you will download the event for today. But for the others, since I'm activating them, it will take like 40 minutes, close to an hour for them to reflect on that drop down. So once that happens, you can check maybe an hour from now, and then you'll be able to see the entire list of all past events. If that's okay with you.
That's fine, Simon. Thank you.
Yes. So I'm sharing a document called past events. I'm just sharing it on the chat section. The good thing is you can download it. You can download it. It has the name of the event and the code. The code in bold. I'm sharing it right away. Let me PDF it. So you just download it from this chat section that I've activated. Let me attach it now. And then we have a computer, desktop. So we have past events there. So confirm if you're seeing a PDF, please, on the chat section. Everyone who is in session, there's a PDF. If you can download that PDF on your computer and open it, you will see all the past events with the links. With the code, which you can later click on the link I've shared, or just visit our website where I showed you where you have the get certificate and then key in your information. And for every past event with its code, you get the certificate respectively. So I think that will help. Let me see if there's any other issue. I think that's pretty much it. So thank you so much. I believe you've been able to, oh, Hillary says no PDF. Who else can't see the PDF? I think I've shared it to everyone. Let me share it again. Yes, Jet, you can speak. Oh, Elizabeth also. Wow, okay. Okay, let me do this. Let me do this. Let me display a screenshot. You can take a screenshot. Don't know if this will help. John says it's not a PDF. Okay. Let me try this. Let me try this. Now I want you to do this. I want you to take, if you can take a screenshot. I don't know if you can see, wait a minute, this PDF. So I don't know if you can see my screen. You can see my screen? If you can take a screenshot with this, then you can just read the name of the event and the code this side. The name of the event and the code. And those codes are actually increasing with 1. Rose Ngugi has downloaded it. Thank you, Rose. So for those who can't download as a PDF, just take a screenshot of what I'm displaying. You can zoom in, take a screenshot. Then when you go to that link to download the certificate, at least for the other events that are past, they'll reflect an hour from now. But today's session is there. So I think that solves that problem. So thank you. Now, we'll having other events coming up next Wednesday. So feel free to visit our website. Our website is thank you, Jeff. Also, thank you, Jeff. Our website, of course, is www.capabil.com, or just type capabil.com, like I've typed on the chat section. You will see other physical programs there and other noble initiatives, including we have a program where we teach kids about financial literacy and entrepreneurship. I don't know how many of us have been taught about financial literacy and entrepreneurship, but Capabil is having a global program where kids subscribe and are taught about investments, entrepreneurship, and things like that. So let me paste that link as well for those who are everything is on the website. For those who are interested and we have kids, you can consider taking your kids there. So thank you once again. I think that that brings us to our end of our session. And I want us to watch out for upcoming sessions. Go to our website. We have the section for free seminars. And once you get there, you will, of course, see a list of upcoming sessions. Next week, we'll be looking at why many people will retire poor, okay? These are personal finance and retirement planning on 12th of April. So you should be able to register there, okay, and join us. So let me bring it to an end. And I wish all of us a very productive afternoon as we gear on to finish this week. So as we shift gears to personal engagements, remember to share this information with your friends so that we have more people benefiting from these sessions. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for having us also. We truly appreciate. And bye-bye, everyone.